Hi, Arad. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I do. So my name is Arad Sawat. Obviously, I'm Israeli, Jewish, Moroccan, Tunisian, and everything. Um, I'm working as a production designer and creative director in the film industry and in entertainment. Um, Currently working on a huge project named Chai, which is an association that basically bring the memories of righteous between the nations to the public spaces, to streets, as a new art form and a new way to consume art by in a public space by installation and video art. That I think it's been 2 years around this project, and I'm very excited about it. Um, yeah, working over 20 years in the film industry and television in Israel, Europe, and the States. Um, and yeah, I try to bring myself, my own narrative as who I am, as an Israeli, as a Jewish person, to the big screen and to the public places in, you know, all over, I guess, in Europe and the States. That's my goal, to bring like the Israeli Jewish culture to be more accessible in a public spaces and on screen. I was lucky enough to work with huge artists as Samuel Maoz, Joseph Cedar. So I'm doing like a small project as as footnotes, as from footnotes, which is a small feature film that talk about two Talmud investigators, philologues, I guess, to huge, massive films like Golda. Most of my work is around, um, my Israel and Jewish culture. So I'm bouncing between working for constructing content to museum, to film industry, to stage, and to exhibition in a public place, which is, I call it a street museum because it's very social way to consume art. I don't want to sell tickets. And I have a big idea about a new way to consume art in a public spaces all over Europe, basically through extending and putting a spotlight on those who saves life, uh, righteous between the nations, as they call them. I call them the angels.
Yeah. Do you want to start with that? Do you want to show us what the project Chai looks like? Or do you want to start with your portfolio of work and stories from your past works?
I will share my screen, maybe to give you an idea about what I'm doing. Basically, most of my art is based on taking a narrative and create a world that could contain the narrative and work with the creators deeply into the narrative and trying my best to take it out of the creator hands or Israel per se and putting it on the big screen or in the public places. So even a film like Footnotes, usually I will break the film to concept art And just like an architect will try my best to break it into a small fragment and plan each frame and fragments of it uh, like a huge puzzle that once I will construct it all together, it will be like a full wall. So a full wall of a philolog will look like that. Usually I'm starting with a painting, with an old-fashioned end painting while reading the script and trying to imagine what's the best way and asking a lot of questions around the script, or where does it happen, what do those characters trying to say and to say to the world. And then I'm breaking it to a lot of small sets and locations and work very deep into the content, trying to make it accessible, to take it out of Israel to the world. So this is my way of expressing myself from through visuals. Um, I did quite a lot of films. I was lucky enough to do the first horror film. Was Afraid from the Big Bad Wolf that Tarantino considered it like one of the 20 best films that ever made in the last 20 years, actually. And it is an first Israeli horror film. So I'm very proud about it. Like it's a very small, minimum budget with big creative ideas of a small group of Israelis that really, uh, really lift it up
That's
from.
amazing.
It's amazing, yeah. And even this one, I will say that even a film like this small film named Footnotes, directing by Joseph Sider, it's
Yeah, it's
actually
amazing.
it's a very small film about two Talmud investigators in Givat Ram in Jerusalem that actually won Cannes Film Festival for the best screen. So, I will tell you, I mean, behind the scene, I will tell you a story because when we premiered this film in Cannes, it was Shabbos. Joseph Sider, the director, is a religion director back then, at least. So we need to walk all the way from the hotel to the premiere, and there was like the red carpet needed to be so long because we needed to walk all the way in French in Cannes, taking two Talmud investigators' story from Givat Ram to Cannes Film Festival, through Cannes to the big screen of Cannes, and we won an award over it, which is quite unique.
Yeah,
I
that's
will,
that's amazing. Could you
yeah,
could we get to the Golda part? This is what I'm curious personally about.
yes. So let me try to get there. Okay. So yes, Golda. Think I think Golda was very challenging uh, design-wise, and not just. There's a lot of political involved because, basically speaking, we needed to build Israel of the film in London. Most of the crew never visited Israel, and even if they are, they don't know the fragments. So there is I guess, like 50 artists that needed to craft the film, to build it in a studio without knowing Hebrew, without knowing signage, without knowing what is an Israeli culture. And I needed to throw really a very um, precise visual Bible of every fragments so they could understand. So every graphic, every set, every fragment in the film need to be so precise, planning wise, and that And as much as I know, there is a lot of underground bunker that we need to, to use the imagination. Even me as an Israeli needed to use a lot of imagination just to try to think, how a woman, first female prime minister in the Middle East could feel in a war room uh, in Yom Kippur War. With the first, actually, the first image that bumped to my mind was, what was the white shoes that around those shoes there is a lot of black military shoes.
Yeah.
And it was, it's kind of like this image takes us really like a trail that took us everywhere to the film because it's not just about the war, it's about we wanted to establish the state of mind of Golda during those periods of Yom Kippur.
The film was
Um,
amazing and it really hit waves. People everywhere didn't stop talking about it. How was it received? What was your experience going out to the world as the designer of this amazing film? And Helen Mirren as the main character, I mean, she was insane. I mean, the whole vibe of the film was very, you really succeeded to capture the Israeli vibe. If that was the goal, it was beautifully, beautifully executed. Do you have more images to share of the
yeah,
concept?
so let's say even a film, even a shot like that of just like a bunker, I needed to, to create a concept art that, that I mean, you don't need to use a lot of words, like a picture worth 1,000 words out of it. So every frame of the film, it's end painting first, and then I break it into fragments, into a 3D modeling, into a frame, because even the DOP that shot the film is not an Israeli. It came from Holland. And as you see here, that's the set. Everything was a set build because there wasn't any location that we could actually shoot in. So my goal, and actually the reference was Dr. Strangelove, the war room, like,
Mhm.
like they playing, it's almost the playing on the fate of the Middle East and Israel, while
Yeah.
knowing that the Israeli doesn't have anywhere else to go. So it was very challenging. There is quite a lot. I mean, the house of Golda's kitchen, it's a famous sentence here in Israel. So every every artwork on the wall, every wall and artwork and piece of art and furniture was almost like a tailor's suit in that sense. And I tried to catch Golda in a maze. It's a complex of maze that she hardly see the sunlight in the film.
Mm.
And I imagine her, walking in the apartment that it's breaking like a grid. The apartment is, I construct the apartment as a grid, and the war room is a maze and a grid. And very detailed. And the same is the
The
offices,
office.
the complex of the office. Everything is kind of like catch her without any air, very minimum of light that we throw in, and really she's always between walls, walking from the apartment through those offices to the bunker. Very claustrophobic. We
Yeah,
wanna we
and she doesn't see any light and she smokes the entire film, which is like
Yeah.
insane. We're not used to see people smoking. So fast forward because we only have 15 more minutes before we break into Q&A. Um, I mean, you are an amazing, you work at the highest levels, right? Like the stuff that you do. I mean, even now in Israel, you're working on the festival, which is like a 40,000 people size event. You work at the highest level, working with Golda. I'm sure you did like a bunch of other Hollywood level films. What happened? And you did the Eurovision, right? Is this here in the portfolio? Could you
Yeah,
tell us?
actually, there is actually Golda. I was nominated after the 7th of October to the British Guild Design. I was the only Jewish Israeli that came to the award ceremony. it was so strange because I needed to go behind the scene, not from through the front door, like because there was a lot of hustle and bustle, with the riot outside, because there was a big picture of Golda Meir. I was one of the three designer from the British Guild Design that were nominated. So is what Golda was very, in front of the building, and was what I it was actually it was not pleasant because no one actually wanted to talk to me in a way. It was but I thought that it's thing that I needed. I thought it was a goal. My goal was to come there and to present my work, just like just to put it in front, to put Golda Meir at the center of London in the British Guild Design, which is very, I would say, very old guild regarding cinema world, and to try to bring the face and the fate of Golda Meir to London. It was very intriguing.
And then you
Uh,
found yourself sitting alone in the table, right? What was that like?
Well, I'm kind of like in a way I'm traveling quite a lot with myself and with my art, and my art is always related to the place where I come from, so I used to it. I have a thick skin, I guess, and I believe in my art. I believe in what I'm saying. I'm bringing. Oh, it's there is. I'm not doing a lot of entertainment, honestly. I'm doing now Festival, yeah, but usually. I'm not, I'm bringing like content that I believe that have a place in the world. So yeah, it was unpleasant, but it's part of the game. I guess I learned that you lose some and you win a lot.
Yeah. And
Same
this
with
stage I think is so familiar. Everyone I see that like their eyes open when you showed it. Uh just go ahead and Iris, what stage is this?
that's the concept art of the Eurovision. When I went to start to think about, okay, what should it what should it be? I
Yeah.
thought, okay, it's a dark period that needs light. And I want her to perform on a column of light, and I want to lift her up. I didn't think that it's the right time. We didn't think that it's the right time to put, dancers and a form of choreographer. It's very chanson. It's almost painful, but most of the text that we put that actually most of the text of the singing was a new day will come. So it's all about bringing light out of the darkness. And my idea regarding the architecture form of it, I wanted the audience to look up. Everybody in the Eurovision looks straight on to the stage. When
Mm,
Yuval walks up, it was amazing because all the eye line look at like really up,
mm,
and it was very challenging because we experienced a lot of push back. Not just the idea, because they try to force, to put a lot of sticks in the wheels. They try to force a minimum weight. They didn't want me to bring stuff from China. They tried to convince us to do the work in their own hands. But I managed to take it to this level while importing all those crystals, because it is kind of like a big chandelier eventually. I took a lot of crystals that I buy in Dubai Chinese market. We pay a lot, and we invest a lot of producing around it, because we needed to buy a business ticket and to really put it in suitcases, bring it by two suitcases in each flight. and we constructed in Romania, and then we needed to shift it into Sweden. So there was a lot of hassle. They get us like a minimum time to construct it on stage, like 30 seconds to construct a structure, an installation that needed to go up to 6 meters high. So, but there is, I honestly think that there is a Jewish chutzpah in a way, in a good way, I'm saying it because I thought like, okay, how do I do that? So I thought, oh, maybe it's like it's like a telescope. So we just bring it like on in pieces, just like that, one piece inside of the other, and it was like just like a telescope. They kind of like we stretch it up, we plug it, 30 seconds. No one believed from the Sweden, no one believed that it could happen, honestly. Eventually, they want me to design it so in a way, and 3 weeks before, I understand that it needed to we need to lift it on an elevator size-wise of 240 on 240 meters, and the weight need to be like half a ton, and the time that we need to bring it into straight to the middle of the straight stage and plug it was 30 seconds. It's almost impossible, but it happens.
Amazing.
And
It
so
sounds like
no,
Mission Impossible, and it's so exciting, and it was beautiful. It was gorgeous. It was so effective. It really lifted everyone's spirit, I think, when we saw it just after October 7. You did a great job. Thank you for this
thank you. And
project. It's amazing.
honestly saying it's a group of very talented people. And in every, I'm lucky enough that in every, like casting is everything and matching is everything.
Yeah.
And because, usually, you walk in on red carpet, you get an award, but there is a lot of people around it. Each one is an expert in his own, in his own profession. There is a lot of ingenuity, as you see here. It's like creating a plan that I made and a concept, yeah, but then I needed to make like a maquette and do
Yeah.
reversals in Romania and shift it all
And
the
now you're
way.
basically taking all that knowledge that you accumulated from film, from stage, from every TV, film, theater show that you ever done, and you want to bring it together in order to make the star of the event the people who saved Jews in World War II. Right? This is what's happening right now.
Yes. So basically speaking, I mean, the Jewish Israeli specific culture world is boycott. We are boycotting. I mean, it's on boycott. Okay. I mean, not. I mean, it's obvious. And while I realized that after Golda and the Eurovision, um, I thought, what if I will take those Israeli Jewish creators and I will make something that talk about lifesavers.
Mm,
And we opened the Association of Chai, and actually it was after we worked together, me and my partners in a Shtetl museum in Lithuania. We constructed a content to Lost Shtetl Museum in Lithuania that it's already already premiere. And while working on the museum, I thought like, okay, who is the audience and who will come to this museum? All the way to a small town in Lithuania. Working in this museum for 16 months, halfway I thought, okay, the story that never been told from my perspective, it's about the people that saves life, that saves the Jews, righteous between the nations. And I thought, what if we take we take those subjects out of the walls of the museum and we put it in the main streets in Europe as an installation. So the
But
idea
it's
was that,
also technologically innovative, right? This is not just a structure. There's like a lot more to it. Could you explain?
yes, so it's a place when technology, design, engineer, and art meets. So basically speaking, before we talk about the technology, because this is a patent and it's a way of, a new way of a new cinematic way of experience and image. But while going deeply to the research, I managed to find that all those righteous between the nations are not Jews. There is Muslims, there is Christians, there is Shinto, there is atheists. So many people that the only connecting line between them that they make a decision to save lives in the most horrifying period of humankind. Well, that, and they found the bridge between those periods actually today and back then. This period that the democratic values is dissolving. And I thought that what if this is the subject, to talk about it as a phenomenon, a human uh, uh, phenomenon, because no one from those people was communicating. They didn't communicate that one with another. Each one was a personal story that the goal was to sacrifice his own life in order to save Jews. While doing the research, I managed to find like 50 countries that the act take place in. And I thought that I need to put an exhibition in each street where the action of saving life was taking place. So I actually did really a huge breakdown over the righteous between the nations. And I think while talking about it, while doing the research, the amount of them just raising and become bigger and bigger from a daily basis. And I thought that I will mark it as a yellow star, but it's a different kind of star. It looks like an Hollywood star. It's not a victim star. It's more than that. Working in the film industry, I found that there is a lot of people that do an amazing films and get a star on the best place in LA. And I thought, okay, those people deserve star.
Yeah.
They deserve to be in the public place. And I found that there is a lot of those people doesn't even know the size and the importance of the sacrifice that the parents or they did. Part of it die without even knowing. So break it into plan. I thought, okay, I wanted to put in a public, I will, and the idea is to put an installation in a public place that 5 people could interact with the content, and they will see video art through a narrow window. And through the window, when they look, they will see a 180 degrees of a video art all around them with sound that actually based on the work of Diego Rivera. Diego Rivera was actually the husband of Frida Kahlo. What he did, it took like a different mise en scene and composed it into one feature, just like a cappella. And I took it as an idea, and I thought I could tell the story without even a subtitles. My goal is not, I don't want to tell the story I would say, honestly saying, like a Jewish person know the story of righteous between the nations. My goal was to put it as just like as a Trojan horse, to put it in a public place where the act take place, and so it will be seamless, and every status, everyone could experience it, from the poor that sleeps on the floor of the street to the richest, they will have the same experience without any need to buy a ticket. And this is the first one, actually, based on the story of Aristeide de Mendoza, which was the Portuguese consul from Bordeaux that saved thousands of Jews, and not just Jews. And he died poor. He died thinking that he is a traitor. He saved life, even so his government didn't allow him to do that without knowing, without knowing. So I tried to invent. It was the first, actually, right? It was the first character that we researched, trying to think why does it did why did it? As a consul, he know the consequences. The punishment that could come, on his shoulder, on his shoulders, and he died poor, and it moves me because I thought, okay, that's a story to tell, about a man that goes against his national through a belief. It actually goes against men, um, while fulfilling God's will, thinking about life.
Is there anything that you found that was like a thread, a common thread between, there's like over 20,000 people, right, that saved Jews in your,
Yes.
did you find anything in common?
No, I did. The only common thing was saving life. Every one of them comes with a very specific personal story that comes from an educational background. And for me, it was a tool. That's what I want to do. I want to educate, not to hate, and not to hate Jews. I think the narrative of us as a Jew is wrong today. I mean, right now we are boycott us in a way the boycott the culture. That means that they do dehumanization in a way, because once you cut culture out of the Jewish person, there is, it's like Kafka. It's you cut the value out of it. And you know what? Today, even movement like the BDS and a lot of different that movement that follow them, actually they boycott the artists, the leftists in a way, the one that actually comes with a Jewish moral, saying, I mean, Samuel Maoz, that actually will direct this artwork. He did Lebanon. He won the Golden Lion in Venice Film Festival. But he critic our own government in a way. Now they boycotting him. And I was asking, and I started to ask, why do they boycott Samuel Maoz? Why do they boycott David Polanski? And the only reason, from my point of view, is dehumanization, is to cut the culture and to leave and to leave us just with the way that we look in the news. This I wouldn't, this ugly narrative of a Jewish person with a gun, and we are the people of the book,
Yeah.
eventually.